Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Jared Pratt, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Mitch Watson. We are honoured to acknowledge Brigadier Darren Stewart, Head of Operational Law from the British Army. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors and students on behalf of the following schools. From Western Australia, Shenton College and Santa Maria College, Perth. I'd invite you all to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. If you wish, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we'll read the story behind just one of those listed on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private William Black. William Younger Grubb Black was born in 1895 to James and Marjorie Black of Minmi, New South Wales. Black was reportedly from an old fighting family, with his grandfather and other family members having served in the 42nd Black Watch Regiment. He was educated at the local public school before becoming a miner. He was a member of the local Citizens Militia, as well as an active member of the local Oldfellows Lodge. He also became a prominent member of the Minmi Presbyterian Church Choir. William Black enlisted into the Australian Imperial Force in July 1915. He underwent a period of training in Australia before leaving for active service overseas, with reinforcements to the 4th Battalion in October 1915. Black was first sent to Egypt, where the AIF was undergoing a period of reorganisation and training following the evacuation from Gallipoli. In January 1916, he fell ill and was sent to hospital in Abbasia, where he spent nearly 2 months undergoing treatment. He did not rejoin his battalion until late May 1916, after being sent to France. The 4th Battalion conducted its first major operation on the Western Front on the 23rd of July 1916, when it participated in the attack that captured the French village of Pozières. Private William Black never returned from that operation. In fact, official inquiries determined that his death was on the 22nd of July, although no specific details were recorded. However, Black's parents received a letter from his company commander, Captain MacDonald, who wrote that, "During the first attack by our troops on Pozières, your son did excellent service, and by his untimely death, you have not only lost a son, but we a good soldier and a cheerful comrade." Private Black's good mate, Bede Kennedy, wrote that he saw Will only a few hours before the attack was launched, saying, "He was in the best of spirits with all the other boys, and only too anxious to have the opportunity to get some of his own back from the enemy. He came through the charge all right, but his fate came in the evening of the 25th, Tuesday." All who wrote of Black's death said that it was sudden. Bede Kennedy wrote, "He died an easy death as far as I can hear, about 2:30 p.m, and as glorious a death as any man could die." And Captain MacDonald wrote that, "We were all thankful to know that he died without having to suffer any pain." Private Black was greatly missed amongst his mates in B Company. Kennedy wrote, "He proved one of the bravest of the brave. He was ever ready to do whatever was asked of him, and was a good and true friend to me. No doubt we all feel it, but we shall not all pull through." Private William Black was buried in the nearby Gordon Dump Cemetery, where today he lies under the words, "Forever with the Lord." He was 20 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among more than 60,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here today at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private William Younger Grubb Black, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, in the hope of a better world.
If you're able, please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall not grow old, as we to the left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.